real life events inspire my latest project in today's episode of Dev Diary, the series where I try to make my own video games. Now, to be honest, I just wanted to make a crane game, and that's kind of what happened. The player can move this cute little alien from left to right, and they can press spacebar to drop their green buddy into a pile of stuff below. Our alien friend is magnetic, and so the nearest item to the lower end of the ship will be snagged. A sequence will then take over, which will bring the item back to the drop-off point and repeat. And if it's not obvious, this was all done using GameMaker's 2D physics and was way more difficult to pull off than expected. Like frustratingly, just the sequence of picking up and depositing an object took up majority of the dev time this week. It's a whole technical thing that really just boils down to working with what's available, but unfortunately this meant less time for the rest of the game, because yes, there is an actual part 2 to this thing. But before we get to part 2, just a quick reminder that if you enjoy the content, supporting me through Patreon can help me keep making it. Doing so can get you access to exclusives and even early access to the weekly Dev Diary videos before they're released on YouTube. So the motivation behind this crane game is to grab the item displayed to the right. Below it is the time limit in which said item must be obtained, deposited, and more importantly, delivered. And who are we delivering this to? A crying child, of course. Indeed, this premise, which is in fact inspired by real-world events, is to try and quell the crying child by giving it what it wants from the claw machine. The little meter is the time limit in which the player has to get it done, or it's game over. Baby rage overload, tantrums engaged, day ruined, try again. And so when the player manages to snatch the desired item from the crane game and drop it into the level below, our other little alien friend will attempt to retrieve the item. If it can, they will deliver said item to the crying child, to which the child's anger timer will reset to 0 and a new item will be chosen. And should our alien friend not be able to reach the item because the player ended up flooding the floor with things that the child didn't want, well, about a minute after being dropped into the lower area, items will begin to disappear. This in turn should hopefully allow other items to eventually cascade into a way for our alien friend to finally grab their target item. Now you may have noticed occasionally a number of new items will be dropped into the crane pit. This is to obviously help keep the game going and is actually controlled by the player. Because I simply did not have the time to add the entire system, I had planned to automate the distribution of new items. See, the original plan was to have the entire crane game work on a credit system. Each grab attempt would cost a credit, and spawning a loot box of new items would cost a few more. Credits would be awarded by keeping the child happy, and that would be the general gameplay loop. But again, I spent way too much time trying to figure out the mechanics for the crane part, so I just had zero time to add anything more. It would have also been neat to, add some RPG elements. For example, there was going to be the chance that the crane would drop the grabbed item, and it would have been fun to have like a luck skill that would lower that chance. Also things like, maybe faster crane movement speeds or more helper friends, better item odds in the loot boxes. I don't know, there's honestly so many things that we could potentially add that it might be worth revisiting this one. So what do you think? Is the project worth continuing? Anything else that you think could improve the experience? As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so be sure to share them in the comments. While you're at it, if you enjoy the video, consider leaving a like, and why not subscribe if you're new to the channel. But with that said, brings us to the end of today's Dev Diary, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.